How to get started with commercial property investing. In this video, I am going to share with you step by step of what are the things that you need to do to get started with commercial property investing. So if you want to know, then stick around. All right, my friends, to understand commercial property investing is all about business principles. So first thing first, commercial property people buy to have number one, the positive cash flow, high rental return, and also the long-term lease. These are the main things that actually gives you a secured income. First of all, what is positive cash flow? When you buy a commercial property, you don't look for growth, you look predominantly for the income. You get positive cash flow. It means that you have to pay tax as well, which is a good thing, means you are making money. In commercial property, generally the leases are long term. As you know, leases means that agreement between the tenant as well as the landlord, and that tenancy is generally 3 years, 5 years, sometimes it is 10 years. Versus in a residential property is generally 1 year. Now, when you look for a commercial property, what are the things that you look? If you look for a stable tenant, long-term lease, and a good locations, by all means you should be looking to buy that property. Whereas in residential property, what you look is the location as well as the building. You don't care about the tenant as such. Sometimes you want to buy as a vacant building in residential property because you always believe that you will get a tenant. Now let's talk about different types of commercial properties. What are the things that comes to your mind? The first thing comes to your mind is perhaps retail properties. Retails are where the retail businesses happens, right? If you go to a shopping center, KFC, McDonald's, these are all retails. Or if you go to Woolworths, Coles, these are the big businesses. They are also kind of a retail properties. So retail is one of the sector that you can think about a smaller property like a $350,000 commercial property versus a big like $3, $5, $7, $10 million property like Woolworths. So that's the retail sector. The second sector that you can look into, which is called the office sector. Again, if you are working somewhere, perhaps you are sitting in an office, that's a commercial building, that's a commercial property, somebody owns that building. The next sector that you need to look into is the industrial sector. What is the industrial property? If industrial property is kind of a warehouse, industrial property is something like a mechanical garage, it can be termed as an industrial. So industrial is where the industrial activity is happening. It's not like a day-to-day customer is going as such all the time. There is no foot traffic as such. And in Australia, you can see there is a specific area where is all the buildings are industrial building, some industrial activities happening. Now, as you see, the world is moving towards more of a work from home culture, and also it's kind of a people are always buying stuff from home, like with online shopping. That means the retail, some of the retail is eventually going to that warehouse. A classic example is like earlier you used to buy stuff, you need to go to the retail shop and then you will choose and buy. Now on the one, you're seeing the photo and clicking that means that request is going to a warehouse and it is getting shipped from the warehouse. So which is why if you see right now there is a lot of demand of industrial property over even retail or offices, because this work from home and online shopping is actually changing the dynamics. So industrial property is the most lucrative sectors right now, and which is why if you see the rental yield is getting lower and lower in industrial properties. The next one is what I call specialized sectors. Specialized properties are like a service station, petrol station, child care, hotel, motel. All these are called specialized. Why they are specialized? Because they are purposefully built. Because it is purposefully built, it needs a special kind of valuation, and also lender generally do not lend that 70% or 75% of that property. Generally they would prefer like a 50% or at max 55%. So you need a larger deposit when you want to buy this kind of specialized property. So if you are looking for a petrol station, if you are looking for a child care, if you are looking for a hotel, motel, and these kind of properties, just be careful that the lender is only going to lend you roughly about 50 to 55% of the property value. Okay, that being said, how to get started? The first one that you need to do is that education. I mean, this is the most part you need to learn. You need to learn about commercial property. If you do not know anything, don't just buy the property straight away. Learn about commercial property. Watch different videos, read different books. You will get a lot about commercial property. You will learn, you will be much more educated to take the decision. Don't take the decision blindly. That's number one thing. The second thing that you can do is that engage right professionals. Make sure that anything that you want to know, find out somebody who has done that before. In this case, if you want to buy a commercial property, find out somebody who did buy commercial property before, and by finding them out, you can always learn something from them, and you will be much more equipped, much more person who can buy these properties, as opposed to if you are like arrogant and if you are like, no, I don't need anyone. That is going to be a problem, because you will make a mistake, particularly if you are buying for the first time. The second thing that you can do to networking, go to different events, online event, offline event, seminars, webinars, anywhere you can go and learn through networking. Ask questions. If somebody is buying a property in some particular area, ask them why are they buying, what is the reason, what is their goal. By asking all these questions and doing a networking, you will learn a lot, and that is the key part at your initial stage before you start investing. And the last but not the least, I'll say always start with small. Do not think about going really big, because starting small, if you are buying your first commercial property, don't think about buying 3 million, even though you can buy it 3 million, $5 million property. Don't buy straight away about $5 million property. Start from small, because there is a lot of learnings, lot of practical learnings that can only happen once you purchase. So once you purchase that property, even though it doesn't make a lot of money, because if you buy a, let's say, $500,000 commercial property, it's not going to make a lot of money, but it can give you a lot of education, lot of practical education that you cannot get anywhere else. No matter what I say to you, how much I can give my examples, unless you buy it, you will not get that experience. So you have to start from small to get to a stage where you can then buy a bigger properties. So that's all I wanted to cover in this video. I hope you got some idea about what to do about commercial property, what are the things that you need to look for, and by all means, if you want to learn more, go and watch other videos. And if you are ready to buy a property, and if you need a free consultation, by all means go to our website in the description below, where you can book a free consultation, and one of our team member can help you to go through these steps and understand or probably teach you in a way that it's needed. So if you need a one-on-one free consultation, by all means go and book that in our website. I hope you find this videos helpful. If you like this, subscribe our channel so you get to see more videos like this, and it also helps us to reach out to more people like you. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.